All right, the Warriors know something about 3-1 series leads. This time they're on the other side of it. They're facing it, and they got to go up to Canada and try to do something about it.
That'll be Monday on ABC. 105-92, the 92 points scored by the Warriors, the lowest they've scored all postseason. Raptors are on a natural high. Here's the countdown crew.
That's right, and welcome back to Oakland, California. The Raptors with a big win, lead the series 3-1. Fans leaving early in this one in what possibly could have been the last game here at Oracle Arena. Little shocking to see that, but alas, here we are. We are the Countdown Crew. My name is Michelle Beadle, Chauncey Billups, Paul Pierce, and we are joined by Vince Carter. Paul, what is he doing?
I'm taking my last pictures in Oracle. This is the last time we're going to see a game here.
You were.
Didn't I tell y'all that before the game?
You did tell us that. Sometimes he's right, every once in a while. Vince, Kawhi Leonard. I almost feel like I've asked this a million times, and yet it doesn't ever get old. Did you expect this good of a performance night in, night out?
You just didn't know. You knew he had it in him. You knew defensively he was remarkable. But you're seeing he's getting to his spots. When he gets his ISO situation, he sees guys, hey, I'm going to get you the 1-2 dribble pull up. If he has a big, he's going by him. He's making the right reads. Mid-range, anything you want, he's getting. And the one thing about it, Kyle Lowry shooting the ball well early allows him to get rolling late in the game and, of course, to close it out in the second half. And his numbers are just outstanding right now.
And I believe, Chauncey, you did have the Warriors winning this game, correct?
I did have the Warriors
So
winning
what
this
happened,
game.
buddy? What did you see?
I mean, obviously, Steph didn't play the way that we thought Steph would play. He had 47 in Game 3. Clay came out and gave him a big lift, but, this is really all about the Raptors. Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, Serge Ibaka was outstanding in this game tonight. I mean, on both ends of the floor, he made winning plays. But, the guy that I say, we talk about winning plays, and you mentioned him a little bit, Vince, Kyle Lowry. Yeah, if you look at that stat sheet, it's not impressive. But he made some impactful winning plays that decided this game, in my opinion.
Fred VanVleet, by the way, with the stitches. I don't want to hear anything from the hockey people for 1 minute because that was tough. Paul, that being said, for this Raptors win, bigger win or bigger loss for the Warriors? Where are you putting that?
I mean, this is going the way I always thought it would go because they didn't have Kevin Durant. I always said he always tipped the scale in the last few years. Now, when you take him out of the equation, I think it's even ground across the league. Golden State, they come back down to earth. And that's what we're seeing in this series because Toronto, if Kawhi doesn't miss the games he missed, if Kyle Lowry doesn't miss the games he missed all throughout the regular season, this team has the best record in the NBA. They won 58 games, second best record. But if those guys don't miss those games, they win 60-plus games and would be considered the best team record-wise.
I'm just glad that you brought it back to you always knew this was going to happen.
I saw this before the series started.
I know you did, buddy. That's it for us from Oracle. Maybe forever? I don't know. Monday night, Game 5, live from Toronto, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, ABC, NBA Countdown, 8:30. The Raptors one away from winning it all.
Before y'all leave, take a picture.
All right, different subject. Master Fencer is going to win tomorrow. That completes our Belmont coverage. But we're just getting started on the NBA coverage.
The Belmont sneaking in, getting a bare mention. Probably what horse racing deserves.
Going to go to the thing. I was laughing at Kenny. Hi, I'm Scott. The Raptors, they grab a hold of this series in that third quarter where Golden State has been so great in the past. Kawhi Leonard is just absolutely remarkable. We got post-game reaction. Doris Burke, Stephen A. Smith, somebody from the Raptors, maybe multiple Raptors will stop by. Tim Legler will break down things as only he is able to do. And before we get to this highlight, look, the first half, Golden State comes out absolutely on fire, builds a double-digit lead. The Raptors are horrendous. The Golden State defense plays a role, but the Raptors just look like, all right, this is a human nature night. We won a game here. The champs are going to give us their best. They're going to win. No. 2 for 18 in the first half from 3 away in Oracle in what will be the last game in that building unless Golden State can get off the deck, go to Toronto, and win. That's it. That's a wrap on the Oracle. You see that the third quarter, that's where the entirety of the game changed. A 16-point quarter advantage for Toronto where after with the 7 stitches, took a shot to the eye, and the folks in the Oracle had to leave early, but Doris Burke kind enough to stick around late. And Doris, we just illustrated how, after a really miserable shooting performance in the first 24 minutes, that third quarter belonged to the road team. What was different in your estimation about what the Raptors were able to bring in terms of energy, execution, or whatever else?
Well, I thought, in speaking to Nick Nurse at the half, he said, I was proud of our guys. We stuck with it. We had a lot of good shots. He said, I didn't think it was stellar offense, but we kind of stuck with it, made enough shots to keep ourselves attached. So I think you could almost go back to the second quarter. And you were just touching on Kyle Lowry. And I thought Mark and Jeff were talking about this, him making every right decision in the second half. As good as Kawhi Leonard is, forgive this expression, it's the only thing I can think of, Kyle still seems to me, Scott, to be the straw that stirs the drink for this group.
Well, he was fantastic in facilitating, but Kawhi, look, this isn't new to him. This stage, these moments, he's got it. He's better now, if anything. The game seems to have slowed down. You're there in the building. Tell me what I didn't see that you're able to see because you're there. What is he giving us?
Well, I thought you could see it in the post-game interview a little bit when I said, how do you keep your balance between being productive and yet absorbing all that pressure? And he said, I'm not playing hero basketball. There's a great equanimity about him, right? His meter doesn't run too hot. It doesn't run too cold.
Right.
And Kyle Lowry told us early in the series, Scott, that they feed off of that. Hey, listen, they walked off the floor in Game 3. There was no celebration. There's a seriousness in demeanor and a belief that they can win this series.
Last quick thought, because I agree with you, and yet you're going up against the championship pedigree, the DNA, the culture that we hear so much about. What failed them tonight, Doris?
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just observationally from the sideline, and I think our guys at the table did touch on this. Golden State looks exhausted to me. I thought Steph down the stretch of that game, there were multiple times in transition defense where guys were walking up the floor. They couldn't quite, change ends as fast as they could. Listen, this has been a long, hard run over these 5 years, and I feel like there's a little bit of wear and tear. Can they respond in Game 6 like champs? Let's see, or excuse me, Game 5.
Well, that's true, and I'm with you. Listen, you could be the champ, but there's only so many punches you can absorb. And this Toronto team, they're the ones delivering the shots. They're the ones delivering the punches. And now they've got 48 minutes for a parade.
And, Scott, I got to tell you something. There is this incredible scene happening right now. This is a country so hungry and thirsty. There is an enormous group of Toronto Raptors fans. There's tons of signs.
Wow.
We the North. I mean, it is such a compelling scene. I know they're going nuts back in Jurassic Park. 37 million people in the country of Canada. Forget Hockey Town. We're talking about basketball, Scott.
Well, let's be clear. We're looking inside Oracle right now. That's not Jurassic Park. That's Oracle. That's remarkable. And it is. It's one more win, but they always say that's the toughest. Doris, thank you. We'll talk again Monday, all right?
You got it, Scott.
Wow, what a scene. That's inside Oracle as we speak. Yeah, well, belief is a powerful thing, but right now Toronto's a more powerful thing. Before we dive into this, you pointed out something about Steph and what he spent the other night giving them 47. What did he spend?
Unfortunate for Golden State that they had such a quick turnaround, because we already had 2 other breaks in this series, right, where there was 2 off days. Now he has to expend all that energy the other night, Scott. 31 shots, 14 free throws, 14 threes. You saw the way he was playing, and he's 190 pounds.
Yeah.
It's hard for a guy that's built like that to have to carry that kind of load in one game, come right back less than 2 days later, and try to replicate that. He didn't have it tonight, and I could tell early he couldn't get separation with his handle. And that told me right away. He just didn't have that juice in his legs. They got a nice lift from Clay, but it wasn't enough because the supplemental offense just was not there. They needed Curry to be great. He couldn't be tonight.
He wasn't. The guy that is built for this is Kawhi Leonard. I mean, as you watch him, everything seems like it's slow and easy, and yet obviously it's incredibly difficult. What has most impressed you?
I think the precision on his shot making. When you and I were sitting in the green room, I said, you talk about great shooters, and he clearly is one. There's no margin for error on that thing. I mean, it's a dart. It's just going over the rim because it's straight as an arrow, which means it's got to be perfect, and they all are. They go in, they hit the back of that rim, and they come straight down. Like when I would go in the gym by myself and I would try to shoot a perfect shot, for me that was inside the net, hit the back of the rim, and come back to me. And I used to call it like my dog. I'd call it, come on back. I wouldn't have to get anybody to go chase the ball. That's how his jumper looks all the time. It goes straight through, straight down. The precision on his shot making is unbelievable, particularly off the bounce with guys hanging on him. But you talk about, not being sped up. He's so strong. He's so on balance. he never does anything he doesn't want to do because of that physical strength component. And the other thing that stood out to me, the inside presence that Toronto has in their offense that Golden State doesn't have. They just don't have the balance there offensively that Toronto does, and Ibaka was enormous tonight for that reason.
And we see that he will join us to discuss his game because complementary scoring so often can be the difference in who wins and who loses. The Stars, someone's going to step up. Kawhi did his part with 36. But what they got out of Siakam tonight was what?
Yeah, you're not exactly sure with this team.
Siakam, excuse me, Ibaka.
With Ibaka, yeah, you're not exactly sure with this team who it's going to be.
Right.
On a given night.
Siakam.
Particularly this team, you really don't know who it's going to be. It was Lowry and Green the other night. Tonight it was Serge Ibaka, and he came into the game immediately, tried to have an impact, super aggressive in the paint. I talked about the interior presence. That middle of floor pick and roll where these guys are diving into the paint, catching the ball. Golden State's had no answer because they're playing so small at times that Ibaka doesn't even feel anybody's presence when he slips into the rim. Like, the guys that are rotating to him are guards. So he's catching it in the lane. He's going up quick and strong and athletic. He made a couple of plays at the rim defensively. One of those in which he walks into a trail 3 off of that. Yep. He was just on a different level tonight. And look, you knew Kawhi was going to be great. We're kind of used to that now. So you go, well, where's it going to come from? Yep. Are Lowry and Green going to make 11 threes? Didn't have to tonight because they got 20 out of Serge Ibaka on a night when they had to have it. And I just think when you watch Golden State right now, the lack of interior presence offensively, Cousins barely saw the floor in the second half. He's clearly not there. It's Kevin Durant, right? That's the difference on both ends. An interior presence defensively with his length. He's their best shot blocker. And then what he can do in areas of the floor to go get a shot that's clean, even when guys are draped on him. They just do not have that element, obviously, to their offense. The big man is looming. We don't know if we're going to see him, but I'll tell you what, if he doesn't appear on Monday night, I do not think Golden State can win that game.
Well, if they can't win tonight, I realize it's a quick turnaround, but if they're not going to win tonight in that building after Toronto goes 2 of 18 from 3 in the first half, and they've got, honestly a clear path, but you've got to win tonight. I'm with you. I'm with you. Tim Legler, appreciate you.
Thanks, Scotty.
All right. The Raptors, you see, are 3-0 at Oracle this season. Chance to win their first franchise title. That's amazing to me, man. It's the first time that they've gone winless at home against a team in the Steve Kerr era. As on the other side of the bench, Nick Nurse on that critical 12-minute third quarter where the entire game changed.
Well, we had a big problem with the third quarter in Game 2, Doug. So we had to make some adjustment there to try to combat the way they come out of the half. They've been historically really good at that. And, we made the decision to put Fred in Game 3 and then Game 4 again tonight. So, and mostly it's to try to keep our pace of our offense going. Gives us, 2 point guards out there that can push the ball, get it in and get it going. And it kind of paid off. I know Kawhi's 2 big threes to start the half really, I thought, changed the whole feel of everybody. I just thought everybody was like, okay, man, we're here, let's go, and we just kind of kept going from those 2 threes. Oh yeah,
his athleticism and his ability to affect the game at both ends.
Yeah, he's once he gets into the series, which he did in Game 3, with the block shots and the rebounding and stuff, he seems to stay in the series, and he was great tonight, man. He was, and it's kind of all he usually gives you all of it. Once he starts blocking a couple shots, and the offense comes, and the rebounding comes, and a putback here and there, and even his jump shot seems to come. Once he gets into the game defensively with a block shot or 2.
Tim in the back left.
Obviously, we'll get the Warriors side of things, but Coach Nurse saying exactly what the highlight illustrated. After a horrendous first half shooting the basketball, 2 threes made, and Kawhi comes out and makes 2 threes on the first 2 possessions, and all of a sudden they lead. And that remarkable road presence for the Raptors. You could hear them chanting, "Let's go Raptors," in Oracle, and what could be the last game. They really lit that fuse, and they take a commanding lead in the third quarter. And now they have a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. Leading up to 1 o'clock, you're familiar with how we do it here. We will hear from the